Am I the asshole for telling my sister she would have been a terrible mother? I, 17 male, have two sisters, Alice 29 and Miranda 33. I'm much closer to Alice than I am to Miranda. Miranda is also not on good terms with our parents. Alice has 4 kids and is currently expecting child number 5, while Miranda can't have children, which her ex divorced her for. Miranda is very successful in life. She has a nice apartment, works a good job, and earns a decent amount of money. Alice, on the other hand, is struggling financially. She had her first child right out of high school and got pregnant with her second soon after. So she decided to become a stay-at-home mom for her children while her boyfriend provides for them. Me and my parents try to help them out as much as possible, be it childcare or money, whatever she needs. I love my nieces and nephew. I take them to the park and play with the older ones. I really enjoy it. Miranda doesn't help out with them. She says it's because she's too busy. Well, she works long hours, but she doesn't have kids, so I don't know what she does on the weekends. She also doesn't help out financially, which I find unfair, since she makes so much money and all she does is spend it on herself, although she does give us very nice gifts for Christmas and birthdays. So here comes the part where I may have been an asshole. You were already an asshole, so let's see what this is about. We got on the topic of Christmas presents, and I told her some of the stuff I wanted. She nodded and said she would give our parents a coupon for a much-needed vacation, and Alice some clothes she had mentioned, and also some new boots and jackets for her kids. I was a little stunned she didn't have any more for Alice, so I asked, why do you only get Alice the bare minimum? You can afford to help out more and you refused to out of spite. Miranda looked at me and laughed. She said it wasn't her business to feed 6 people, and that Alice was old enough to make her choices and live with the consequences. She knew what she was getting herself into and that she wouldn't pay Alice's way through life just because she kept having children she couldn't afford. I agree. I actually called me a bitch, but I agree. I was stunned at how cold she reacted. I asked her how she could live her life being so selfish and uncaring, and she got angry and told me, listen kid, there are some things you're way too young for to be discussing with me, and this is one of those. Drop the subject or get out. I agree with her. What the fuck? You're 17. You don't even have a real job. You haven't gone to school. You don't know the hardships of life. At that point, like, you cannot tell your grown-ass sister who worked her ass off to get where she is how to spend her money. I got really frustrated with her and said something I probably shouldn't have. No wonder your husband divorced you. Even if you could have children, you would be a terrible mother. Miranda got very quiet and told me to leave and never come back. She has now blocked me on everything, and though I don't agree with her not helping out, I'm starting to feel guilty for saying what I said. So, am I the asshole? Dude, yeah. Am I the asshole for telling my wife the lock on my daughter's door does not get removed until my brother-in-law and his daughters are out of our house? My brother-in-law Sammy lost his home shortly after his divorce 10 months ago. He moved in with us and brought his twin daughters Olivia and Sloane 18 with him a couple of months ago. His sister, my wife, and I have one daughter, Zoe 16, and she and her cousins aren't close but get along fine. Olivia and Sloane have no respect for Zoe's privacy, none. They used to walk into her room and take everything they get their hands on. Makeup, phone, accessories, clothes, school laptop, etc. Zoe complained a lot and I've already asked the girls to respect Zoe's privacy and stop taking things. My wife and Sammy saw no issue with this. After all, they're girls and this is typical teenager girl behavior. I completely disagree. The last straw was when Zoe bought a $60 MAC makeup kit that looks like a paint set that she saved up for over a month, and one of the girls, Sloane, took it without permission and ruined it by mixing shades together while using it. Don't know much about makeup, but that's what Zoe said when she found the kit on her bed and was crying. I told my wife and she said she asked Sloane to apologize, but I got Zoe a lock after I found out she was moving valuable belongings out of the house because of this incident. The girls were extremely upset. Sammy asked about it and I straight up told him. He said, my girls aren't thieves. It's normal that girls of the same age borrow each other's stuff. He said that Zoe could easily get another makeup kit for $15 from Walmart and shouldn't even be buying expensive adult makeup in the first place, and suggested my wife take care of this defect in Zoe's personality trying to appear older than she is. Oh, this is where the claws come out. He accused me of being overprotective and babying Zoe with this level of enablement. I told him that this is between me and my wife, but she shamed me for putting a lock on Zoe's door for her cousins to see and preventing them from spending time with her, saying I was supposed to treat them like daughters, then demanded I remove it, but I said this lock does not get removed until her brother and his daughters are out of the house. She got mad I was implying we kicked them out and said her family will hate me for this, so I reminded her that I let Sammy and his family move in, which is something her own family refused to do, so she should start with shaming or blaming them for not taking their own son and nieces and granddaughters in. If it wasn't for her family's unwillingness to help, we wouldn't be dealing with this much disturbance at home. Everyone's been giving me and Zoe silent treatment, and my wife is very much upset over this. Go dad, good for you.
Okay, so a little background information. I was 16 and a sophomore in high school, and I guess we could say that I was popular. I mean, I personally wouldn't say that about myself, but you know, that's what everybody else said. And I have two best friends who we are going to call Ariana and Tammy. We've all been best friends since I was about 4, I want to say. We all grew up in the same neighborhood. We went to the same preschool, you know. Pretty cliche. Well, Tammy has an older brother who Ariana and I both find extremely attractive. Like, And we made this pact whenever we were in 7th grade that nobody would try and get with her brother, her older brother.
It says, please do not touch the gumballs. Why are they there then?
Well, that would have been the plan, I guess, until my sophomore year of high school, when I guess I had this, you know, extreme glow up physically. And he starts flirting with me every time that I go over her house. Now, I tried to keep my cool at first. I really did. But I ended up being more into him than I should have been. And I decided that I wanted to lose my virginity to him. I don't know how you sit there and decide, oh my god, I want that person to be my first. I mean, I guess I like understand it, but I also don't at the same time. I feel like when it happens, it happens. Anyways, back to the story. Now, I had done things with people before, but I had never gone all the way. Well, the one day, Tammy, Ariana, and I were all hanging out, and we all got super drunk, and I went behind her back. Whoopsies. Not really, like, I wanted to do this. I didn't care if she found out or not. But I went behind her back, and I texted her brother, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so bored down here, like, we should do something, like, they're about to fall asleep, you know? So he was like, okay, well, you should come up to my room. I was like, okay. So I went up to his room. It was super awkward at first. We started talking, and then the next thing I know, my drunk ass was throwing myself on him. But apparently he cared more about his sister's feelings than I did, which is pretty bad. So he was like, okay, like, if we're gonna do anything, we need to go to your house because I'm not gonna do that with my sister in the house. You know, I don't want her finding out. And at this point, I was in full beer goggle effect, and I literally just wanted some dick. So, we walked to my house, which was literally 3 minutes down the street, so, you know, it wasn't too bad. And we went to my room, and I had, like, one of those rooms that was, like, over the garage. I forget what those are called, but yeah, it was like that, you know? So it was, like, not really attached to the house. I would go up in the garage to get to my room. So, you know, we start to get into the mood, we start doing stuff, and right as he pulls the condom out, my dad calls for my name. He's like yelling my name. So I ran over to the door, I locked the door, and I'm not gonna lie, it was like probably 4 in the morning, and my dad gets up really early for work, so he takes the dog out, he goes to the garage, warms his car up. His work's like an hour away. So this was pretty normal. It wasn't just like out of the blue that my dad did that, but I thought that it was like 2 in the morning. So I ran to the door, I locked it just in case he came upstairs. I looked at James and I was like, you gotta go. Like, you need to leave now.
You need to leave.
He's looking at me like, where the fuck do you want me to go? That's when I tell him to let himself out of the window. You can go now. So James hops out the back window, like the window that's in the back of my garage, and he's running his little scrawny ass through my yard to the street in his Bugs Bunny boxers. Cute. Well, my dad ended up seeing him, so I forgot that there was like a window in the back of my garage, so you know, here's the garage, here's my room, okay? He is running out of my room, he jumps down, and there just happens to be a window. Right there, right there. So yeah, no, my dad saw him jump out, but he didn't see who it was, so I was very thankful at that. Because not only were Tammy and I best friends, but my parents were also best friends with her parents. So you can see how that could have went terribly. So after I get my clothes on, I walk out of my room and I just sit there and stare at my dad. And he's like, you better have all your chores done in the morning. And then he leaves. I was like, oh, okay. Period. You know. So anyways, fast forward a month. Yes, a month. It is the Friday Night Lights. If y'all don't know what that means, it's pretty much just a football game. Well, fast forward, I am at the game, and I see James, who I really haven't talked to since that whole jumping out of my window, running down the street with his boxers on thing happened. Well, I decided to go up and talk to him, and to be honest, he wasn't really mad at the situation. He thought it was hilarious, and he was being his flirty self again, which I was super happy about because I thought I ruined my chances, to be honest. And there was really no awkwardness between us. So at that point, I'm like, hey, like, I know this little spot behind the bleachers if we want to, you know, finish what we started. Ooh. And I thought this was perfect because Tammy was on the cheer squad, so she had no business going behind the bleachers. So we get there and all is going super well at this time, you know. And then we realized that everybody could see us behind the bleachers. So we went into this old concession stand that nobody goes into, literally nobody. Like, the window at the back of it was broken and stuff like that. So we crawled through the window, and all was good, right? Wrong. Somebody comes banging on the concession stand door right as we are about to pick up the pace. Yeah, of course. Of course. So now we are both scrambling to get our clothes back on. So pretty much at this point, I'm like pissing myself because one of my lights just went off. Ignore it. I know the lighting isn't as good as it was before. Just ignore it. So like I said, at this point, I'm shitting myself because nobody comes in here. Literally nobody. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, every game that I've came to, I've always looked at like this concession stand. It's empty. Who would be knocking on the door that, mind you, is literally boarded up? So we try to go back out the window after we get our clothes on, and the window is like, the glass was like on the bottom of the window, so we were literally gonna get cut the fuck up. So we just decided that time to open the door, duck under the board, and we both bolt it. And the guy didn't even try to run after us, thank God. But this is now the second time in a row where we have been interrupted. What the fuck is next? I don't even want to know. Don't tell me. So after that, you know, leave the game, go home, and I text James and I'm like, hey, like, I don't know if you still want to do this, but I want to try to do it again. Like, I am really attracted to you. And he's like, sorry, I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Emotional, damn it!
So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm ugly as fuck. Like, I am so freaking upset because what do you mean it's not gonna happen? Like, the last 2 times you were down, like, you were red tea. Like, both of you were ready, if you get what I mean. So at that point, I literally do not text him at all. But the Friday after, I end up going to Tammy's house. And I end up telling Tammy what happened. I'm like, hey sis, so the past like 2 months, I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying to fuck your brother. And she said she knows. I told her I'm like, sorry, I'm not gonna be able to follow the pack. Like, it's not happening. And she thought it was actually really funny. So she was like, just promise me that you won't get hurt or you guys won't get into a relationship. She was like, you know, because I don't want to have to choose somebody over somebody. She was like, it just wouldn't be good. So I'm like, okay, I promise, da-da-da. So then, Saturday, Tammy has to go to a dentist appointment, so I just hang around her house. And James comes into Tammy's room, and he's like, hey, like, you know, I'm sorry about what happened. And I was like, well, I told Tammy, so we can get down to business, or you can just, like, be a lame-ass bitch. Pick one. So he's like, I just still don't know if it's gonna happen. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, I care a lot. Well, then the week after, right, one of James' friends starts to hit me up, who was also really attractive, like really attractive. And no, I was not talking to him to get James back. No, like, I actually, like, see, with guys, it's more of just like a sexual attraction and not like, oh my god, I want to date you. Like, I like you. I like you. No. Okay? Anyways, so I guess James got wind of this and he texted me and he's like, so what, you, like, because I won't fuck you, you're gonna go and fuck one of my friends? And I'm like, nope, that's not at all. What is going on here? I was like, I'm literally just looking for someone to hook up with. That's all. And you said you didn't want to, so why are you mad? Ew. And then guess what happens? you guys already know. He's like, well, I like changed my mind. Like, I want to do shit. And I'm like, oh, now you do. So now, what do? I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, I have to think about it because honestly, like, I don't even know if I want to do stuff with you anymore. Manipulation at its finest, you know what it is. So at this point, he's just like, and I'm like, no, but all jokes aside, I end up texting him a few nights after, and I'm like, are you sure that you want to do stuff still? And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't say if it wasn't true. I'm like, okay. Because no, I didn't want James's friend. I wanted James. So while everybody's sleeping the one night, he comes over to my house, and it's like 1 in the morning, you know. And finally, we get down to business. If you guys want my honest truth, whether it was good or not, it sucked balls. Not literally. No, it actually sucked. Like, we waited for nothing because it was garbage. So after that, I told Tammy, even though she literally told me she did not want to hear about it. She was like, girl, stop fucking talking about it. I don't want to hear about it. Stupid bitch. But then after things did start to get a little messy because he wanted a relationship with me, and I didn't want one with him. And I did end up doing the nasty with his friend. And then Tammy ended up texting me. This was like 2 weeks after we did whatever we did. And she's like, I literally told you this is what I didn't want to happen. I was like, what's wrong? I was like, you know, we're not dating, nothing like that. She was like, no, my brother's asking me right now if I'll ask you to come over. You haven't been answering his texts apparently.
Am I wrong for ruining my work colleague's wedding and getting them arrested? The title sounds bad, but hear me out. I, 38 female, had 2 work colleagues, Mary and Adam, both in their late 20s, early 30s. Mary started in the company first, and then she got Adam to join. They worked in different departments, and Mary was in mine. Later, Mary left the company to pursue another career. When they started at the company, they were already married for a few years. Now, Mary is the kindest and loveliest person I've ever met. She was always polite, helpful, and would cheer anyone up. So it came to a shock when we found out that she is divorcing Adam because he has cheated on her. I had called to express how sorry I am that this has happened to her, and we've been talking daily ever since. I was impressed how well Mary holds herself in such a situation. She wouldn't badmouth Adam, and the only thing she mentioned was how her wedding dress and a few family heirlooms went missing when she was moving her stuff from their apartment. She thought they might be misplaced in a different box and will turn up eventually. A few years passed. I now work in the same department as Adam. He is a good work colleague but can be dismissive and ignorant sometimes. Adam invited me to his wedding with the lady, Chelsea, he cheated on Mary with. As the entire department was invited, I said yes, making sure Mary was okay with this. I've also told her where the wedding will be because it's not too far from where she lives and we can go grab some drinks after if she wanted to. On the day of Adam's wedding, I had noticed that Chelsea was wearing a similar dress that Mary had worn in the photos of her and Adam's wedding years ago. So without thinking, I had snapped a picture and I sent it to Mary with the caption saying, "Doesn't this dress look familiar?" Mary saw the message but didn't respond, and about an hour later the police showed up at the venue. I need to add that the police in our country is ruthless and any theft is considered a criminal matter for the police to deal with. Police had asked Chelsea to take the dress and all the jewelry off. Chelsea refused and started arguing with them, and then Adam joined in. Everyone at the wedding had to leave. I had tried to call Mary, but she wouldn't pick up the phone. As we found out later, Chelsea was wearing Mary's wedding dress and her heirlooms. Mary spotted them on her in the picture I sent her and called the police. Apparently, she had previously asked Adam if he had them, and he declined, saying he never saw them. So, after she saw the picture, she knew he was lying and stole them. Chelsea had to leave the wedding dress and jewelry at the police station and go home wearing her underwear and Adam's jacket after they were bailed out. Yesterday, Adam returned to the office and went completely mental at me, blaming me for sending a picture to Mary and ruining his wedding. He would also call me an asshole for what I did. Am I the asshole for kicking my sister-in-law out after she threw away most of my single-use baby products and even formula? I, 19 female, have a 3-week-old baby girl. I do still live with my parents, but since I pay rent equally, they say I can have just as much of a say of who comes in and who comes from the house as they do. I've never actually taken advantage of this rule until recently though. I have a brother who's 26 and his wife is 24. They're crunchy parents to an 8-month-old. Basically what that is fucking stupid. They use reusable wipes, nappies, think formula is epitome of evil, baby wearing, and the list goes on. I'm the complete opposite. Pacifiers, supplementing with formula due to low supply, disposable wipes, and nappies. They are completely against the products I use and often give me things like my sister-in-law's breast milk in bags, disposable nappies their loved one has grown out of, etc. I've used some, but it's not really my cup of tea. On Monday night, my brother and sister-in-law were minding my baby for me since it was my birthday, and my baby's father, not together, very close friends and co-parents, took me to get some dinner in one of my favorite fast food places. When I got home that evening, my sister-in-law said that she did some cleaning and threw out anything I don't need. This immediately gave me red flags, but they were in a hurry hurry to get out the door and left almost immediately. When I went into the nursery, every disposable nappy and wipe pack was gone and replaced with some reusable cloth ones. Same with my formula. There was 8 tubs of it and all of it was gone. I'm not able to replace them at the moment and solely breastfeeding isn't sustainable for us. I was extremely angry and I just turned my phone off to avoid being mean to my sister-in-law. She and my brother came over yesterday to collect something they forgot, and that was when I confronted her. I told her she has to replace everything she dumped. When she said she can't afford to, I said fine, just get out and don't come back until I've been reimbursed or everything is replaced with the original items. My brother thinks I'm being a massive asshole and he's on his wife's side. Of fucking course. Our parents think I'm being completely reasonable here, but they think telling her essentially not to come back is taking it too far. So, am I the asshole? Am I wrong for telling my brother and sister-in-law that their pregnancy announcement was trashy? My family has a 21 plus adult-only gift exchange, volunteer only. If you sign up, you have to spend $20 on each person. We have a Google Doc with a list of things each person would like, their sizes, and favorite snacks. You follow the list, you spend $20 per person, and we have the exchange after the kids go to sleep. My sister-in-law Kelsey, 34 female, and my brother Kyle, 30 male, both signed up to be on the list. They asked to go last because they had something special they wanted everyone to open together. Everyone else followed the list and got people something they would like. Kelsey and Kyle spent $5 per person. It was a sonogram picture in a cheap dollar store frame and a note saying $35 has been donated to the baby in your name, and a 2XL shirt with puffy paint that said Baby Bella 2022. We all said congrats about the baby and talked about it for a bit. My dad then said, do you want to finish the exchange? This is great news, but we have to be heading home, so if you want to get the rest of the presents. Kelsey said, that is the gift. Kyle got up to use the bathroom and my dad followed after him. They had an argument in the hallway and Kyle stormed out. My dad was like, everyone can take their gifts back from Kyle and Kelsey because this is bullshit and they knew exactly what they were doing. A few people did take their gifts back and left, but the rest of us sort of sat there until it calmed down and then went home. Kyle ended up showing up at my house 2 days later with a real present and apologized. He said in a very angry tone, Kelsey has been crying about it for days now, so thank Dad for ruining the surprise. He then asked if I liked the gift, and I said no. He asked why not. I said, well, everyone else got you a real present with thought put into it. You didn't even get me a shirt that fit, that was printed professionally, and then spent the majority of the money on yourself. It felt cheap and ruined the spirit of the exchange. He called me an asshole and left. So, am I? No.
Hi, my name is Ashlyn and I'm from Brooklyn. Please like and subscribe. My twin sister Brooke and I were born to a single mother, and we were the prettiest set of twins with gorgeous blonde hair. Oh dear, I've always wanted a daughter, but each time God gave me these good-for-nothing devils. How about you give me one of your girls? Just then, I bit the woman on the hand and she ran for her life. Brooke, how many times have I told you not to be so violent? I'm Brooke, Mommy. Ashlyn! Mom was shocked because usually Brooke was the one with the nasty temper and I was the well-behaved child, but I just couldn't help it. People always tried to take us away because of our super long hair, which even Mom thought was going to make us super famous one day. But I wasn't very fond of the whole famous thing. I was a studious kid and I loved books, and Brooke was the polar opposite of me. Everyone at school was her friend, and she was head of the drama club with a huge fan following. In the 6th grade, I topped my grades, and Mom took us to a fun fair as a treat. But on our way, she bumped into a friend, and while I checked out the stalls, Brooke went on to buy some ice cream. But minutes later, I heard her scream. I ran to check, and some guy was fighting with her over the last piece of ice cream flavor they both wanted. I was here first. Let go, you crazy witch. Hey, leave my sister alone. Give it to me now, or both of you will go home crying. Suddenly, Brooke took the ice cream and shoved it into his face, and the guy went bonkers. He took out the biggest ball of gum I had ever seen and shoved it straight into the back of Brooke's head. OMG! I kicked him in his knee and he fell into the pig pen in the petting zoo. But now, Brooke's head looked like a bird's nest, and Mom almost fainted when she saw Brooke. She immediately took her to the hairdresser, but even the hairdresser freaked out when she saw the giant mess. There is no way we can remove this. We'll have to cut it all. What? No! But since there was no other option, they gave Brooke a buzz cut, and she looked devastated. The entire way home, I tried to cheer her up. It's just hair, Brooke. It'll grow back in no time. But she didn't say a word, and when we reached home, she ran up to her room and locked herself in. So I tried different ways to cheer her up this time. I baked your favorite cookies, Brooke. Open up. I asked Mom to buy tickets for the BTS concert, and she agreed. I'm gonna be a mom, Brooke. And that's when she finally opened up. God, you're so dramatic. So are you. Could it be we're related? Days later, when the school reopened for the new session, I made Brooke wear a wig. But since it was summer, Brooke kept scratching her head like crazy the entire time. Oh God, please stay away from me. I think she has lice. How dare you even say that? She does not have lice. Right then, the boy sitting behind Brooke noticed her wig coming off, and he pulled it off. Oh God, she's a baldy. Wow, we can finally tell Brooke and Ashlyn apart. The pretty-haired one is Ashlyn, and the bald one is Brooke. All the kids burst out laughing, and Brooke looked furious. She jumped on the kid who pulled her wig and grabbed his hair until he let out screams. The teacher pulled her away and was about to send her to the principal when I begged her to let it go. And thankfully, Brooke got away with a warning. But the next morning when Brooke came down, Mom and I were shocked. Did you forget your wig, sweetie? Everyone knows what I look like now, Mom, and it makes me itch. Come on, honey. You wouldn't want to go out of the house looking like an egg. Mom, I think you look cool, Brooke. Whatever. I don't need your approval. Huh? What was that about? At school, I warned all the kids to not mess with my sister, but it seems like Brooke didn't care about it anyway. Then one time, I was in the school's hallway when Brooke's drama club members came up to me. Ashlyn, Brooke left the club, but we really need a pretty girl lead for the play. Can you take the role, please? Please? They kept begging me to replace Brooke and didn't leave until I said yes. But just then, a boy walked past me and I dropped all my books. Hey, watch it, dude. But when he turned around, I was shocked to see it was Brooke. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I didn't see it was you. Yeah, that's the thing, Ash. Saying that, she just turned around angrily and walked away, and I felt so stupid for not recognizing her. After that day, something changed in Brooke, and she started to talk to me less and less, and Mom only made things worse. Every time we'd go out, she'd made Brooke wear a cap. A few weeks later, when we got home from school, Mom was screaming with joy. Oh, honey, I have great news. Some weeks back, I had sent Brooke's photos to a company that was looking for a new model, and guess what? They selected her! For the first time in ages, I saw a huge smile on Brooke's face, and then Mom said, but now, Ashlyn will have to play the part. What? What are you saying, Mom? Mom told us that the company wanted to use a model for their new hair products, and since Brooke had lost her hair, my natural hip-length blonde hair made me perfect for the part. Just then, Brooke took a vase on the table and smashed it to the ground. How can you do this to me? Those were my pictures. I was the one who got selected. She cannot take my place. But what can we do if your hair won't grow back? It's been like that for months now, and God knows if it's ever gonna grow back. Listening to Mom's words, Brooke ran to her room crying, and I told Mom I was not gonna do it. Oh, Ash, I wish I'd never have to tell you this, but things are really tough at work for me right now. They might even fire me, and I'm so worried about how I'm gonna take care of my girls. Seeing Mom so stressed, I had to say yes to the offer. But now, Brooke was super mad at me, especially after Mom took her to the doctor and we discovered that her hair growth rate had slowed down drastically for some reason. That's why her hair was taking so long to grow back. Later that night when I was sleeping, I felt someone pulling my hair, and when I opened my eyes, I saw it was Brooke, trying to cut it off. OMG, Brooke, are you crazy? Yeah, I'm crazy, and now I'm gonna turn you into me. Luckily, Mom came in just then and pulled her away. She scolded Brooke real hard, and after that day, Brooke stopped talking to me. The next week, Mom took me to the audition, and when I got the part, we had to fly to Los Angeles for the whole year. But Brooke was not happy about moving at all. I don't understand why we have to leave everything behind just because of her. Why can't you be happy for your sister, Brooke? This is a huge deal. And honestly, it's not like you have a lot of friends here. You could use a fresh start too. Despite Brooke's protests, we moved to LA. The campaign I did became a huge success in no time, and my ads were everywhere, on buses, on billboards, and on TV. By the time I turned 15, I had a huge portfolio of modeling work, and Mom had become my manager, and she decided to enroll me into a private school. Honey, you're a celebrity now. Your safety and education has to come first. I was more than excited to finally have proper schooling after all these years of modeling, and I asked Mom to enroll Brooke with me too. But as soon as we entered our new school, kids came running at me to take autographs and selfies, and they'd follow me everywhere I go. And I just hated it. But there was someone who loved seeing me so miserable, Brooke. Over the years, I tried to include her in everything I did. I would even get designer dresses for her to join me on the red carpet, but she just tossed them away in the trash. What is wrong with you, Brooke? I got the dress specially made for you. I don't need your charity, Ash, especially when everything you are right now is because of me. I hated the bitterness Brooke had in her heart for me, and I wished I could just remove that. Don't you worry about her, sweetheart. You have no time for her jealousy. You just focus on your work. Time went by, and Brooke grew confident in her own look and joined a local modeling agency. And I decided I was going to leave the world of fame and finally focus on my studies. But the same day, Mom told me that I'd been cast as the lead for a huge movie. But Mom, I told you I didn't... Oh, honey, this is the last time, I promise. It's just that I made an agreement, and now if you say no, we'll have to pay a huge sum of money for canceling it. Okay, but it's the last time. A few days later, we had the announcement party for the movie, and Mom was taking me shopping for it when a card fell from her bag. It was an invitation card for Brooke's first play at the theater where she was playing the lead role. Mom, we should definitely go to cheer Brooke on. This will mean so much to her. It's the same day as the announcement party of your movie, and that's more important. But I totally disagreed. I left Mom at the movie party and slipped off to see Brooke's performance, and she was awesome. I didn't find her in the dressing room, but I left flowers for her and left. My movie started shooting soon after, and I was a bit starstruck when I met the male lead actor, Tom. He was a super famous movie star at the age of just 20, and he had a huge fan following. But he was really nice and instantly made me comfortable. And over the course of the shooting, we became really good friends. On my 18th birthday, Tom even surprised me with a cake and congratulated me. But just then, I noticed Brooke outside my dressing room. I stepped out to see her, but she was already gone. And then, I didn't see her the entire day. But the next morning, I woke up to the worst nightmare of an actor. My phone was buzzing like crazy, and pictures of me hugging Tom and rumors of our link-up were all over the news. But there was no way anyone from the set could have leaked those pictures. And that's when I remembered seeing Brooke on the set the day before. Holy freaks! I couldn't believe she'd stooped so low. Later, when I came out of the house, there were paparazzi everywhere, and I had to disguise myself to go for the shoot. When I reached the set, we were about to start shooting when Tom's girlfriend came on set and threw the newspapers in my face. You homewrecker. How dare you try to steal my boyfriend, you ugly-faced lizard. I didn't steal anyone. It's all fake news. Babe, can you please calm down? But she didn't calm down and tried to attack me. Just then, Brooke came from behind and dumped a slushie on that witch's head, and security pulled her away for trying to create chaos on the set. Brooke, what are you doing here after ruining my reputation? What? What are you talking about? Oh, stop it. I saw you at the set yesterday, and I know you're the one who sent my pictures with Tom to the media. Have you completely lost it? I wasn't the one who did it. It was Mom. What the freaking Funyuns? Mom was the one who sent your pictures to the media. I heard her talking on the phone this morning. That's what I just came here to tell you. But I saw you on the set last night. 'Cause it was our birthday, dummy. You came to see my play even when you had a huge movie party, and it meant a lot to me. So I thought I'd repay the favor by visiting you, but as soon as I reached here, I received an important call and I had to go back. But that wasn't all. Brooke told me she had doubts that Mom had been up to no good, and when we investigated it, we found out that Mom had been stealing from me and filling her bank accounts. Holy freak, she was a blood-sucking mosquito. The next day, Mom came screaming with joy at us. I've got the best news, Ash. I signed you up for 3 more movies, and we're gonna be super rich now. So, that's why you sent my pictures to the media? What? Who told you that? And even if I did, look at the bright side. All that publicity and dating rumors with the superstar have got you 3 more movies. But you sold your own daughter for money. Shut up, Brooke. Enough, Mom. We are not kids anymore whom you can manipulate so easily. Yeah, you broke our trust and stole from your own child. You're the worst lying butt manipulator that I've ever seen in my life. Oh, no, don't say that, Ash. I did everything for you guys. You're a liar, Mom. You did everything for yourself. And that's why I have canceled all your contracts and removed you from my manager's position. No, you can't do that. Guess what? We already did. Suddenly, Mom completely lost it and tried to attack me. But thankfully, Brooke had called security and the cops, and they took her away. I'm so sorry, Ash. I always thought you were a bad person and always blamed you for everything. But Mom was the real devil and played with us as she wished. It's all right, Brooke. You have nothing to apologize for. But yeah, I don't think I can continue to shoot this stupid movie. How about you take my place in it? Really? You mean it? Of course!
Story time about when I told a girl who was hitting on me that she needs to see a doctor. I met this girl at a camping event and we hit it off pretty well. I was pretty damn religious at the time and took the whole no sex before marriage rule to heart. Dating wasn't allowed in my family until you hit 18 and I was 17 at the time. By the end of the trip, she asked for my IG, which I replied, I don't use IG. Then she asked for my Snapchat. I don't have a Snapchat either. Finally, she asked, what do you use? And I told her Facebook. You'd think her going out of her way to add me on a platform that she hasn't used in years would be a hint, but nope. My dumb ass just thought, at least she'll get to know how good Messenger is now. Fast forward about 2 weeks, we've been talking consistently for a while and she's suddenly mentioning all these ideal date spots in the city and all I could reply with was, wow, looks like a great spot. Let me know how it is if you ever go there. At this point, she went for the Hail Mary and sent me a picture of her thigh pointing out a mole that she hasn't noticed before. I went into diagnosis mode and told her Google said it could either be a mole or cancer. She laughed thinking that I was joking when I wasn't and asked if I was free for a video call. I answered the call and there she was, naked in a fucking towel with the camera zooming into her cleavage. That's when she says, I noticed a mole right here too, as she points to the camera right above her nipple and almost lifts the towel. My dumbass responds, hate to break it to you, but I ain't a doctor. If you're worried about it, you should really have it checked out. The call ended abruptly afterwards and she stopped messaging me after that day for a week. Then she blocked me. I was dumbfounded and thought, if she really hates being my friend that much, then she should have at least had the decency to be upfront about it. Fast forward to today while I was sitting in my place watching some Netflix when out of nowhere this flashback hit me like a truck carrying years worth of obliviousness. I live in California and recently returned to working in person. My job hours have recently been erratic because of this. Yesterday, I got out of work around 8 p.m. and was too tired to make myself dinner. I figured I'd stop at a restaurant for dinner, which would also help a local business that's had a tough year. I got to the restaurant a bit after 8:30, but I had looked it up beforehand and knew it was open till 9, which I thought wouldn't be a problem. However, as soon as I sat down, the waitress was clearly rushing me and actually told me not to order a burger because they've already shut down the grill. I informed her that the restaurant's posted hours were until 9 p.m. and it wasn't my fault that they were shutting down before that. She gave me a bunch of attitude but then shrieked, fine, before storming off. The burger took a long time to make, probably because they shut the grill down too early and I didn't get it until after 9. While I was eating, the waitress was constantly hovering me, which I didn't appreciate after a long day's work. By the time I was finished and paid, it was around 9:25. I thought the waitress was rude and inconsiderate, so I didn't tip her. I paid for good service, not to be berated. After all of this, the waitress confronted me while I was walking to my car and kept calling me an a-hole. I feel like this further justified me not leaving a tip, but some folks at my work today actually took her side. Shouldn't a restaurant's posted hours mean they welcome customers before then? Shouldn't going on a tirade against a customer mean you don't get a tip? Am I the asshole for not leaving a tip after getting horrible service? My daughter Alyssa is 5. Every night, my wife and I go through the same routine of reminding her to pick up her toys and tidy up her room before dinner. I came home late, just right before dinner, and my wife is smiling and whispers, Alyssa has something to show you. My daughter grabs my hand and pulls me to her room and said, look. I said, what am I looking at? She said, my room. I cleaned it all by myself and mommy didn't even have to tell me to. I said, that's it? I thought you were going to show me something important. Sweetie, cleaning your room is what you're supposed to do. Nobody has to tell you to do that. You just do it. And make sure to do this every night. I'm going to take a shower. While I'm in the shower, my wife comes in and says, hey, what happened? I said, what are you talking about? She said, Alyssa is crying and she won't talk to me. Did she show you her room? I said, yeah. She said, and what? That's what she's supposed to do. Then my wife got all dramatic and said, oh my god, please don't tell me you said that to her. Then we got into a huge argument while I'm in the shower, mind you. All I wanted to do was come home, take a shower, eat dinner, and go to bed. Not deal with all this crap. My wife wanted me to apologize, but I told her I don't see what I have to apologize for. I came out to eat and talk to Alyssa, but my wife, still in her bad mood, said that Alyssa had lost her appetite and cried herself to sleep. Either my wife is over-exaggerating, which she tends to do when she's in a bad mood and wants to make me feel bad, or Alyssa inherited her mother's dramaticness. Then she wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the night or even come to bed. I don't feel bad because I know that I'm right in this case. When did we start congratulating people on doing what they're supposed to do? Am I the asshole for not congratulating my daughter on cleaning her room?
Am I the asshole for barking at my ex? For some background, Ezra, my ex, male 40-ish, and I, female 36, split in 2018. After 6 months in the relationship, he started to show some red flags. I ran for the hills, got over him, found my person, and I'm overall happy in life. That's now. Then I focused on work, him on his new girlfriend that lasted maybe 8 months. Their breakup also started the calls. First for support, but they soon evolved into complaining sessions I just wasn't in the mood for. It got so bad that I had to block him, and then the emails started coming. I blocked him there too. In the meantime, I moved in with my man 2 blocks away from my best friend and within a mile from Ezra's baby mama's place. I was on my way home from my BFFs and had a lovely night when all of a sudden Ezra appeared with his kid. Am I the asshole for barking at my ex? I was on my way home from my BFFs and had a lovely night. Was all tipsy and happy, headphones in, and walking, dancing through the streets. And all of a sudden, a wild Ezra appeared with a kid 13 in tow. Since I didn't hear him calling me, he decided to rip one of my headphones and started yelling this and that. Basically rubbish about how I ruined his last relationship, which I never even met the girl, so witchcraft it is. And how I'm a huge B word. Well, I started barking. And kept barking, rising the volume to match his. People were staring, but I was too tipsy to care. Lucky for him, a clever boy, he got quiet quickly, looked around, and left. Eureka, something works. Since then, every time Ezra bothers me in public, I just bark at him loudly till he runs away. Am I the asshole for pressing charges against an 18-year-old girl? I have a 17-year-old son who has a girlfriend and an ex. My son also has a car. I think you can see where this is going. My son dumped his ex-girlfriend because he began to have feelings for another girl. He spoke to me and I made sure to tell him how to dump her lightly and not to hurt her feelings before trying things out with the other girl. He did, telling the ex why she was being dumped. Obviously the ex was not happy. She ended up keying my son's car. I'm talking to the point where it's completely messed up. She carved my son's new girlfriend's name onto the doors and called her the S word. She also drew a man with a very small eggplant and labeled it my son's name. She also broke one of the windows and poured a soft drink into it. I came home as she was pouring in the soft drink. Am I the asshole for pressing charges against an 18-year-old girl? He keyed his car really bad and also broke one of the windows and poured a soft drink into it. I came home as she was pouring in the soft drink and immediately called the cops. The ex got arrested and had to pay bail. I'm feeling like pressing charges because it's my son's first car and we don't want to spend so much money on a new car. The ex's mother came to my house and was full on screaming at me. She said that I was a monster for calling the cops on a woman of color. And she also stated that my son cheated and deserved to have his car ruined. I really don't feel bad in the slightest for pressing charges and ruining her life. She is acting really irrational. Am I the asshole for pressing charges against an 18-year-old girl? Am I the asshole for refusing to host Thanksgiving for 20+ people for the 4th time in a row? My fiance has a large family, parents, 2 brothers with significant others, numerous adult nieces and nephews, and their partners. Distant family usually tags along. I have 2 family members that join holidays and this year neither will be able to attend and last year one was present. For the past years, I've single-handedly cooked from scratch and hosted for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. Essentially, I've been cooking for 20+ people while my partner babysits a brisket and a smoker. There's a lot of logistics behind cooking for a larger crowd. I prep the night before, cook all morning and afternoon, and by the time everything is done, I'm exhausted. Last year, I requested that everyone brings 1 side dish or dessert and no one brought a thing. I figured, so I prepared it anyway. No one even thanks me. Am I the asshole for refusing to host Thanksgiving for 20+ people for the 4th year in a row? I've never even been thanked for cooking or hosting. Literally, by no one. All the leftovers get picked over and taken home. Last year, I even had to cook the following day because there was nothing left to eat. I wanted to enjoy leftovers at least. This year, I told my partner I had no intention of cooking. If he wanted to host, he can cater. His reaction was, but that's our tradition. Can you at least make some box stuffing or something? And everyone is planning on coming. My reaction was, nope, that's your tradition. I will not make box stuffing, and if they're planning on coming, you better put that catering order in. He's not spoken to me since. I also haven't been feeling well after an 8-month course of Rev medication. Am I the asshole for going with my friend to a restaurant that was originally reserved for me and my wife? Yesterday was my birthday. My 30 male, wife 28 and I made reservations at this really nice Korean barbecue restaurant for dinner. My wife is 4 months pregnant. However, her friend wanted to hang out with her and had called her the night before my birthday. My wife said this was a childhood friend of hers and that she really wanted to spend time with her. I reminded her that it was my birthday, but she dismissed it, saying that my birthday comes every year, but her friend will be leaving for Germany in a few weeks. I told her that she could go after my birthday as well, but she didn't listen and just went to a sleepover at her friend's place. I got really mad, and instead of waiting for her to return home to talk things out, I asked my friend if he wanted to hang out with me. We spent the day fishing, grilling, hiking, and went to the Korean barbecue. Am I the asshole for going with my friend to a restaurant that was originally reserved for me and my wife? She didn't care about it being my birthday and left to go over to her friends. I went to the barbecue with one of my buddies. When she came home after spending time with her friend, she apologized to me saying it was an unavoidable circumstance. I told her that it wasn't a problem and that I spent the day with my best friend. She got mad that I take him to the restaurant that we booked for ourselves. I said that it was originally for us, but she prioritized her friend over me. So I took the person who prioritized me on my birthday. She said that I'm controlling and that I shouldn't be deciding who she spends time with. Now she's neither talking to me nor coming out of the room. I think I went too far by telling her who she should be spending time with. Am I the asshole for kicking out my girlfriend? So I have a cat named Raven who's 3 years old. My girlfriend of 2 years moved in with me a few weeks ago and it was clear she didn't like my cat. I didn't think it was really a big deal until one day I got home and he was just gone. He's not an outdoor cat and he never goes outside. He was gone for hours and I was worried until my buddy came to my house and returned him, saying he found him 2 blocks from my house. I asked my girlfriend about it and she admitted to kicking him out. I was furious, saying she had no right to kick him out. I told her that since she thought she had the power to kick my cat out, I wanted her out of my house by the end of the month. She cried that she had nowhere to go and that she would have to live on the streets. I didn't care and told her to leave by the end of the month.